here. So this is going to look far different as we get later tonight, and even certainly as we get towards tomorrow and the approach of.
It's a rough morning to wake up in the middle of a hurricane passing through. Fortunately, we just have the outer bands, but it's still very rainy, very windy, and that water in our canal is rocking and rolling. A little concerned about high tide later on today, because that's when we will see the storm surge if we're going to have one. At this point, Jeff was adamant he wanted to stay home and not leave the house. And then I looked out the window and I saw this. And I started to really get scared. The water was almost at the top of the seawall. This is what it looked like when we left. Within about an hour to an hour and a half after we left, this is what our street looked like. Look how high the water is. The canals had just overflowed. We stayed on high ground. We were hiding out from the storm for over 5 hours, just watching the local news on our cell phones, hoping that at low tide, the water would go down from our backyard and we could get home. Unfortunately, there was just no way. We are going to attempt to head home. So this is what the road looks like. At this point, this road appears to be just damp, no big puddles. We're getting closer to downtown Naples now. So we're starting to see a little more water, some puddling.
Streets are flooded. We can't get through.
As we got much closer to our home, maybe not even a mile away, every road that we tried to use was flooded and it was too deep to drive through.
they tried to make an escape.
This was all underwater yesterday. We are hoping to get home today. Yesterday the roads were so impassable. Everywhere we tried to go, we would reach a point where the water was too deep to drive through. Oh my gosh, look at that. In some places there are cars that are just stopped. They probably tried to get through the flooded water and stalled out. Still flooding here in the
See the dumpster
streets.
floated over here? The dumpster goes down at the end of the street.
From the water line, you can see how high the water was back here. We were literally just inches away from having our entire house flooded. This is what the backyard looks like. Looks like part of the dock collapsed. Or actually, maybe that's somebody else's fence. I have no idea what that is, but we sure have a lot of avocados. All right, the dock is definitely loose. I just went to step on it and it snapped, so I don't know whether it's going to fall or what. I guess first we have to figure out who that piece over there belongs to, or get it out of the way. So here's the inside of the garage. You can see things were laying around.
In the garage, you can see where the water line came up to the step.
So the water in the garage appears to have been up to the step.
Up to the top of the step, here's the water.
These things laying on the ground were things that were floating around.
Everything on the ground was floating around.
Well, fortunately we have power, but we're going to check out the generator to make sure it's working. So we're in a line of traffic now. It looks like there's a checkpoint as people get towards downtown Naples. I guess they're stopping everybody to see why they're going there. And we are going to look for a car that we had left in a parking garage thinking we would keep it out of the weather. So we are trying to go downtown, see if we can find our car. Let's see, there are police officers questioning people. Getting closer to the parking garage where we left our car. Hopefully the car, if it did get flooded, hopefully it didn't float away too far. There was supposedly around 4 feet of water here yesterday. And this entire, looks like this entire street was probably flooded. But the parking garage is just up ahead. What a mess. We're inside the parking garage. Clearly this garage was filled with water. That black Lincoln up there is ours. Hopefully it's going to run. Here's where the high water mark was on the car. So the water got halfway up the car. I'm gonna open it, see if there's water that comes out. Car still has water dripping out of it 2 days later. People's lives are right here. Picture that I am going to show you, or the picture I'm showing you, was taken on the steps of this blue house. This is where a number of people went to stay when they tried to ride out the hurricane and couldn't. These people were staying home, and I gather they didn't have flood damage inside because they are raised up. It's very sad. People's homes, in some cases it's all they have. Yes, we can all replace mattresses and chairs and cars and things. It's just the aggravation of all of it. So pretty much everywhere you look, people's things are out, drying out from the house. And most houses on this street suffered flood damage. And so this is waiting for the county to pick it all up. What a shame. There's more. What a mess. It's still early in the morning. People are just waking up. This is really sad. people's lives just stacked up here. Furniture, mattresses. And it just goes on and on. In the scheme of things, we lost this chair and that black Lincoln over there. We made out much better than most. Yes, our garage was flooded, but quite honestly, a lot of the stuff that was flooded is just going to go in the garbage and make our chore when it gets time to unload that garage so we can make our move to France. Throwing out a bunch of soggy stuff now is just going to make it that much easier. So yes, we fared a whole lot better than most people just on this street, and there are so many thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of people who are not as lucky as us, and our hearts go out to them. In order to deal with all of the flood damage in our garage, Jeff has had to basically empty everything from the garage, take it outside. It's been outside drying all day. The one thing that the flooding did do is give us a little head start on things we have to get rid of to move, because there was a lot of stuff that was just junk, and this forced Jeff to just throw it away. You see, he's still got the door open on the car. The car was flooded in a downtown Naples garage. We moved the car downtown to keep it out of the weather. Unfortunately, with the storm surge, about 4 or 5 feet of water poured into that garage, and you can see how high it was on the door panel. That's how high the water was. So it got into the motor, car doesn't start, salt water, pretty much going to be totaled. And there is our pile of trash, things that were damaged in the flood. So it's a shame. Fortunately, we have renter's insurance. I don't know how much renter's insurance is going to cover of this. But look, what was a perfectly good Dyson vacuum cleaner, and a portable air conditioner. This box, I think Jeff has probably had that since he was a kid, or it was his father's, or grandfather's, or uncle's. I don't know. I've always been fascinated by the box. It's kind of sad to see it in the trash. But I guess he made a decision that he can't sell it, so he might as well throw it away. And there's a pressure washer. It's pretty sad. Here's a box of pictures of my life. Everything's wet. just a total loss. It's really so sad. I had no idea what I was going to do with these pictures when I moved to France. I thought perhaps I would send them to one of my cousins or my niece or my goddaughter or somebody. But I just never got around to it. And now I have to let them dry out and figure out what I can do with them. Can't remember if this is my mother's or my father's school picture. I'll have to do a little research before I edit this or finish editing this video. And this is another picture that Jeff found in the garage. Took it out of the frame. This was me, of course, and my one of my brothers, my brother Mark. When we were little kids, I had to explain to Jeff the reason I was missing 1 or 2 teeth is because I had to give them to the tooth fairy. So, well, at least we have the photo or the picture. Our car sits and waits for the towing company to come and get it. There's our pile of trash. It was actually bigger, but some scavengers came and helped themselves. I keep wondering why we even bother to keep the doors open since the car is going to be totaled. But we do it anyway. Everywhere you look on this street, this is our street, there are pieces of people's lives, huge pieces of their lives, possibly the entire contents of their homes. And it just goes on and on. Fortunately, I don't think there were any lives lost on our street. It's very sad.